Hola, ladies and gentlemen. I am SCG13, and I am really excited about this Music Monday. Like, I'm super excited for the first time, I would have to say for the first time in my whole entire career of interviewing people and talking to people, this has been the first time that my heart is beating so fast. So I feel like the person that I am presenting to you all tonight is someone who I connected with 8 years ago. And when we saw this person, we knew. You know what I mean? It's like you get this. Matter of fact, the song that he was singing was Energy, right? And I felt the energy so strong. I just sat there. This was in Sacramento, California. And I sat there just watching, and I was just completely mesmerized and, followed him ever since and watched him evolve through his music and through his mission, his passion, and just seeing him and being able to witness a lot of, his life as an artist. It has just been an amazing experience. And what I know about this individual, I feel like I'm interviewing like some people that are excited like about politics and stuff. Like if they were interviewing like the president, well, this is how I feel about the Philharmonic. This is how I feel about him as an individual, what he has to do in this world with his music, with his healing therapy. And so it's a big day. It's a big day for me. So for those of you who may not have listened to the last Music Monday that we did with the sounds of the Philharmonic, I'm going to let you guys check out one of our favorite songs from the Chironic. Before I bring him on, I want you guys to listen to this and listen to the musicality. Like, check it out. This is Chasing from the Philharmonic's new album, Chironic.
Everlasting, yet I chase temporary satisfaction. Then I wonder why I always feel I'm lacking, despite having everything I need. Throughout life and its obstacles will face, come what may, some will go and some will stay. The only way is to endure all joy and pain, though at times it may seem in vain. Chasing after the wind can drive you crazy. Chasing things that never plan on changing. When life's magic seems to fade, and the light doesn't shine like yesterday, when the sky is covered by all the clouds and rain, remember there'll be better days. I've loved and lost, turning over many stones. Thus is life, for the seasons come and go, and then I find it's best to surrender all my sorrows and pain, accepting what comes my way. Chasing after the wind can drive you crazy. Chasing things that never plan on changing. What's the point when there's no use in waiting on what won't
That's that song right there. I listen to that song pretty much, my whole family listens to that song pretty much every day. At least once. That is from Chironic, the Philharmonic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Philharmonic.
Howdy.
Howdy. How are you?
Doing good. I'm excited to be on this podcast.
I am so excited to have you here. It's like it's been quite a journey. It has been quite a journey for you, the Philharmonic, and you're still here. You're still here thriving. This album, the Chironic, tell me how you got to this space of, I've listened to every song. And I mean, it's been such a journey, and I love the musicality. There's so much that I love about it, and there's so many things that I want to know, but tell me, how did this Chironic come about?
It came through over 5 years of self-doubt, indecisiveness, overcoming vices. I got a chance to sit with myself this year. I was sitting on this album for about 2 years before I decided to release it. Beforehand, I was really, really enticed by making this idea of what a perfect album should be like. And I almost lost my mind trying to achieve it. And I was just stuck in this warp of perfectionism. And I got to a place where I was so far removed from actually enjoying what I do because I was so focused on having this unrelenting desire to be cherished and wanted by everyone around me, where I became stagnant and I became still. I eventually grew out of that. I was tired of just going around in circles and spiraling, and decided to put a collection of songs together after I overcame my vices and really put out something that reflected the evolution of who I wanted to become and where I was going. Mm-hmm. And so those 10 songs are a collection of who I was, the questions I wanted to ask myself about the future, mm-hmm. and who I wanted to become in the future, and how to accept myself in the present moment. And some of those songs are written on drugs, and some of those are written completely sober. But all of them are reflective of who I am today.
It's really interesting.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, please continue.
It's a testament of overcoming imposter syndrome.
That's something right there. That's something very powerful right there, because that's what's happening in the world right now. And what you've gone through, what you've overcome, is what people are having a hard time even recognizing what it is right now. Because they want to make it, they want to be a star, they want to be popular, they want to be liked. And so you mentioned your vices, and you said that some of the work you were on drugs, and some of the work you were sober. So what in that did you learn from being able to be in both of those states in your creative process?
I learned that I didn't need it. I learned I didn't need the drugs to write something. I needed to release my expectation of self in a way that was just egotistical. I just needed to release, to allow myself to create whatever my mind wanted to say. And I
So,
feel like that's the hardest thing to do.
mm-hmm, absolutely. And the fact that you did it and you were able to work on yourself through it and see what it is, that's 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 really big. So I have to ask you this. When did you know in your life that this was your purpose and you had to do this, that you had to do this work that you're doing?
I think I think a lot of the years, I wouldn't even put it in the purpose category. I thought of it more of I had to really transform it, and to have it become a purpose. I think for me, it was like it was a desire of mine, but it was fueled from a void that I felt in myself, and I felt like this gift was the only thing that filled it, and it was something I kept running back to when I felt empty, and it would fill me up again. And so I felt like it was coming from a lot of it came from a desire of scarcity. And I think when I created my album at 23 was the first time I felt that shift.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still had that desire to fill the scarcity, but I felt like I wanted to, at that point, chase a memory of nostalgia that made me happy personally. I wanted to create something I wanted to hear, not something that made me feel accepted from the external world.
Mm-hmm.
And that I believe that was the journey that put me into purpose. Because I was always musically gifted, and my mom put me into places because she saw that too. So she had me in lessons. She had me in orchestra. She always wanted me involved in multiple events to really try to have a versatile palette to thrive in the world. But music was the one that stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me 23 years of life to really hone in on that and do it because I wanted to do it.
And you do it so well. And kudos and ache to Mama. Your mom has done a fantastic job with you. This style of music that you have is everywhere. It's everywhere. I hear so many different sounds. And so I wanted to ask you this question, okay? So, do you hear voices?
Yeah, I hear. I like not coming from the external, but like there's a narrative that happens in my head, and there's a voice
Yes.
that comes with it. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, and do you are you familiar with, like, do you have past life recall? Do you have experiences from other lifetimes that you bring through your music? Do you recall that?
I don't recall like past lifetimes, but it feels like I've never left.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. I feel like the life and death itself is an illusion, and I feel like time is also not it's only something of our construct,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I've always been here,
Mm.
and now I'm just experiencing it in a new dimension. That's what I feel like.
You were saying a lot right there, Philharmonic. That's that conversation. That's that talk of the I am, of the all, of being everywhere and everything and nothing and just being. And you completely reflect that through your music. It's then the song Chasing, it makes me want to cry. It's like I feel that song in my heart chakra. And it's like I relate so much to it because I recognize the feelings. And I think that people that go through those kind of experiences that maybe you're not even able to express it with words, when they hear your music, they're able to make that connection. They're able to make that connection and connect with that vibration of healing because you went through that process of healing it, before you released it. So there's a song that plays right after it goes into the rock, the issue song, and it goes into the rock thing. So were you on drugs on that part, on that song?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I felt it. Yeah. I felt that. Yeah. All right, but it was, but you know what it also made me feel? Like you was tapping into Jimi Hendrix.
I was.
Like I was, okay, so this is really interesting with what happens with music and what happens with vibration and these, because you tap into these energies of that people that are not here, but these souls are still here. But you have created like this channel that you're able to express this energy through your music, because like it's an essence, but it's still Philharmonic. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I don't confuse it with anybody or anything, but I feel it. I feel, I feel that. I feel that. So I want to let people check out just this feeling a little bit more. And I'm not going to play the whole song, guys, because I really want to talk to Philharmonic and I want you guys to get just like a little vibe, and I really want to get into this. So thank you all so much for being here tonight with us. And so the song that I want to play with next, that's another one of my favorites, is Issues. Check it out. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get myself together. Mira, espérate, aquí.
Have you ever thought, what is the meaning of life? Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind.
I ain't gon' front, I ain't gon' judge, 'cause I know that we all got issues. We all got issues. We all got 'em. I ain't gon' front, I ain't gon' judge, 'cause I know that we all got issues. You and me both. We all got issues. Take a deep look inside and you realize the answer's always been there the entire time. Out of the prize, seeking to find, enjoy the ride on this journey through life. Yeah, those skeletons about to close here. Bring them off on the ground to see. Life's way too short to be living in bondage. Step a favor and let yourself free. What's the cause of the effect when every button has been pressed? I guess I'm at my wit's end. I reach my final stride.
You was at your wit's end. That's Issues. And so tell me about Issues and tell me how the release of it helped you in your healing.
I think with Issues, I think that especially now, it resonates with me more often than not. I think we have a lot of spiritual philosophies that really have us try to cope with the reality of this existence, and we try to just understand it because it can be a lot heavy and painful sometimes. And so sometimes we run to these philosophies to really solve these issues for us to keep surviving and thriving and living. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how positive or negative you appear on the outside. The internal strife is always there. Mm-hmm. And at times it becomes almost, it just feels impossible to overcome certain problems and trials and tribulations in life. And so to really speak on that, like it's okay to talk about these things, and to experience these things, and we're all going through it. I think the way we handle it might be different.
Right.
But I don't like the fact that a lot of the mainstream narratives and the things we talk about on social media bypass the grueling process of trying to cope with this reality. And so this song really talks about admitting these issues, but also taking the power back,
Mm-hmm.
and not allowing yourself to be victimized by these issues.
And
Yeah.
that's important because
Hopefully that.
I feel like that's what is being targeted for people to feel victimized and to be in that comfort. And that's why I feel like your album and your music it really speaks to that. And it's just you're such an example of what it is that you're talking about, and that's what makes it so powerful because you are organic. You're sharing your story, your healing, your troubles, the issues, and this is how you deal with it. This is your world. I Minister Solution is in the chat, and he says that I call him musical mad scientist. And then he says that is powerful. Yeah, your example is hugely powerful. And I have to say this. I come from the world of the entertainment industry, been in that world with that world. And so you were invited to be in that world, yeah?
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about that. Like what was that like, that experience, being right there in the, in the doorway of the devil, right? What was that like?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was always rebellious to it. I think because I desired these things, but not at the expense of my freedom. And the deeper I dove into it, those two possibilities coexisting together were not possible. So I went with the I'm going to do what I want, and nobody's going to control me vibe instead of just going the other way. And it was a pretty easy decision.
Uh-huh.
And now I think as I grow more mature in this journey and I'm going through it, I think really a lot of people, if you know what you're dealing with, it's easy to advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But our version of success sometimes gets far ahead from how we evolve spiritually. And that for me is what my spirit felt. And so it didn't allow me to go into certain spaces, because ultimately, now that I look back at it, I think my ultimate desire in this existence is to be free to be myself, to be,
yes,
and to go and to do whatever I want to do, to have full agency and autonomy. And sometimes that brushes heads with my comfort zone, in which I'm like, hey, I want to be able to pay these bills or to be financially well off. But if I'm stuck doing work for somebody else and I'm using my gifts in a way that doesn't reflect me, I knew that I wasn't going to ever be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go with the struggle of finding my way, even though it may seem harder. And, I've always felt that. I've walked away from many producers in the industry and prominent people in the industry that just didn't understand the vision. They were so focused on how to make money or to market to the masses, whatever narrative they thought it was. I mean, to call it the door of the devil, I think it's accurate. But it's actually, it's not in the industry as much as it is within ourselves.
Yes.
Because we are willing to rush something in order to not feel the weight and the responsibility of freedom, And so, but we're unaware of the price and the cost of that when it comes down to having to pay that expense. And, for me, there was nothing that was worth my freedom.
And how do you get there? How, like, Okay, so people are always talking about meditation and doing different things, and people have their different ways. And I'm a big believer in your own way is the most important way. So, how is it that you connect with Source so that you can get this information so that you are as protected as you are and as guided as you are? I know that, of course, Ache to your mom has a great deal to do with it, but what do you do to make that connection?
Weirdly enough, I do two things. When I want something, I pray to the universe for it. I don't, I'm not the type of person that, believes they already had it or visualizes it in their mind. I ask for it and I work towards it and see what I get out of it. Because sometimes we're limited by our own desires of how we want things to work out. Sometimes the universe may have something better for us, and we have to be open to that outcome. And for me to be able to do that is an important way through prayer. And oddly enough, the other way is through skepticism. And I know, like, for a lot of people, they're going to be like, what? How is it skeptic? Because, in a way, for me, when I notice this about myself, and maybe it's an egotistical thing, but I feel like it's a part of me being able to process and to accept the truth. When I see if I see a group of people, like a large group of people, taking a philosophy or a perspective, and just, acting like it's the only thing that exists, I tend to be the antithesis of it, or to believe the antithesis.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see too many people believing or idolizing, if they idolize a philosophy, I'll be the antithesis of that.
Yes.
So if I see too many people being overly positive, I'm going to be the person that's negative. But if I see too many people being negative, I'm going to be the positive guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, and for me, it's helped me get to places because it's like I don't know. It's like I understand the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a resistance that happens with it. You get stronger, but the weight is heavier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the narrow path.
Yeah.
Man, that's one thing that's really interesting about you too. You are quite an observer, and like you could really, you look at a room and like you could really connect to the energy of what that room is, and it's like you do that with people. As you have these experiences, do you see that as like a superpower?
In a way, it is, but it also can really give room for my arrogance at times, because it's like, okay, because now I'm in this, I feel like I know something they don't, so I could do whatever I want with that knowledge. And sometimes, I'm a human having a human experience like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's that very thing that when I walk into a room, I may be completely clueless and I don't know about it. Mm-hmm. I never assume now. I mean, now that I'm here, I don't really assume whether I'm observing, because I can, depending on how you look at a perspective, you could see 5 different things, some even contradicting one another happening at the same time, depending on how you look at it. That's kind of scary. And so at that point, you just stop thinking about the observation and you go with what your gut tells you to say and what your gut tells you to feel. Mm-hmm. And just act upon it.
I gotta ask you this question because, okay, you've been on tour, you've been doing performances everywhere, singing your music and sharing. One of the things that I had an issue with as an artist was, I was always glad that, I'm glad that I didn't, go any further than what I did, because I just couldn't imagine singing the same songs over and 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 over again. So you are very creative. And so in the world of having to perform and entertain, what is that like for you?
I think being able to feed off the crowd's energy is an amazing experience. I think at times when you play the same song over and over again, it does get tiring at times. You know, and it kind of fuels my imposter syndrome where it's like, dang, it's like if people resonate with this and not with this, and I haven't had a song for a while that's resonated at this level, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? And sometimes the rate in which an artist evolves is not the rate in which society itself evolves.
There it is.
And so you have to really give yourself grace to allow that time, and it will reach the ears it needs to hear. Because now, you know, when you get to that part, it really fuels that scarcity mindset of like, okay, I need to create a hit in order to be relevant. And if I'm not relevant, things are going to fall apart. But, you know, at the end of the day, even our greatest desires, even when we achieve them, don't end up the way we think it is. And so if you take that into account, it kind of gives peace with not coming up with that quote unquote hit again.
Right.
And, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And that's a really beautiful thing, because that's that pressure that system would put on artists. And, you know, you spoke about, you know, talking about the whole drug situation, because what happens with artists that are, you know, that go the route where now they are demanded to produce, you know, and they have to produce. And so because of that command and demand, then they're introduced to drugs and they're introduced to different things so that they could, you know, go ahead and be creative. And they're trying to mimic something that could really never happen again, because they stole the organic situation and then they shifted it and wanted it to be organic, and it can never be. So your music and what you're doing is a great example for so many people that are trying to knock on that door and, you know, get in there. And you've been able to go from, you made something out of nothing. You understand? So what could you say to these people that are wanting to get into that door about the creative process, in the freedom in that, you know, the fact that you're able to do and, you know, whatever it is that you want? Can you share some of that, like, to express that to people so that they could understand how important that is to be able to have that liberty?
It's very important, but you really got to sit through the uncomfortability of it. And you know, when you start to take outside sources in order to reach that level of creativity, it bypasses the natural occurrence of how things are created. So you're now messing with the actual elements in the process in the universe for how things are created. You have to go through the doubt. You have to go through the part where it sounds terrible to you, where you're disgusted by it. You have to allow these things to happen and to allow space for them, because that's the only way that you're going to get to where it is. And if you're strong and courageous enough, release the things you don't like, just out of habit, not because you know, just to overcome that fear of being restrained by the outside world and their perspective. It's an act of rebellion to release something you don't even like. Because the reason why you don't like it is because you feel other people aren't going to like it. And that's where, you know, you have to overcome that deception. You got to give it a chance. And that's really all I have to say about that.
You are amazing. You know that? I mean, you from the first day to now, a completely different being. Are you writing a book?
Am I what?
Are you writing a book?
Writing it? Oh, no. Not yet. If I do that, I'm going to do it straight through the voice on my messenger.
That'll be good. You know, because and you know, it's a new way, it's a new world, right? Because my point is just really in how powerful your message is in what you're speaking. You know, the music is amazing, but what you have to say about this experience, the way that you describe it, and the way that you've flowed through it is a very important message to share. And I am so honored to have you here and to have you sharing this with me tonight. I don't think, whew, I'm going to take a sip of water because I don't want to get emotional.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I saw you and I felt your energy, and it's like infinite. You're an infinite. You're an infinite being, and it's like I knew that you were gonna get called to the devil's door. Like we knew all that stuff was gonna happen, and it's like there's so many people that we have watched go to the devil's door and make those agreements and sell their souls. That to see and witness and experience someone of the brilliance that you are, right? To know that, they would have snatched you up. Mr. Solution says that you have that, he got that you ain't gonna tell me what to do strong. And I have that same thing too. And it's like when you have that, it's just a different thing. It's like it is a power. And for you to have been able to conquer your demons, so to speak, right? And do it in just such a way where you've embraced every aspect of it. And that's the important part, is that process that people don't ever look at. They don't look at, when you're falling or when they're always looking at that image of that perfection. And of course we know that we're perfectly imperfect, and you have demonstrated that through Chironic. It's just, if you listen to Chironic, you definitely have to listen to all of them from the beginning. What was the first the first album? What was the first album?
The first album was the Philharmonic. I released a mixtape before then. It was called Good People. But I call it a mixtape, and there's a difference between a mixtape and an album. It's really just politics. But I call my self-titled album, The Philharmonic, my first album, per se.
Minister Solution was asking about, he said that's why he was asking about Good People not being on Spotify. Why is it not on Spotify?
I think, number one, I lost the files, and somebody gave them back to me. And I think now, I would release it as a mixtape I would release some of the songs on Spotify, but I don't know if I would release the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one
some
where
of it because it's,
when you sang the song to the guy that was going to be president? What was that song?
Mr. Sanders? Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders.
Was that on that?
Yeah, that was on that.
Okay, because we definitely have that one, and when I remember listening to that, and I was just like, dang, I wonder, does he know? Because you were so passionate about what you were saying and what you were sharing, but we already know what that world is and how you just got to disconnect from it altogether because it's not even real. So
it's not.
So how is that part of the reason why you wouldn't release that, because of just where your mindset is now, or what would be the reason of just, okay.
I think a lot of it is like, it's almost like, the Philharmonic is loading. It's not like fully loaded up. It's like when you're on the loading screen of your Windows or your PC and you're waiting for it to get to the entry screen. Mm-hmm. That's what that mixtape is.
I loved it. I love it. It was so. It showed who you were, like, completely. I got to know you so much just through that mixtape. And I think it is important for people to know the root of things and where something started from. So even if you didn't put it out, because I also recognize the fact of wanting to be responsible in how you, express your content or how you deliver it, maybe make it available as an exclusive thing for those that really want to know the story, because I just, there's so many wonderful things that your music and your whole energy has inspired. Are you aware of the people that you touch even the people that never go to your shows, do you feel that? Do you know that?
I don't really focus on it, to be honest. I don't know. Sometimes I get weirded out by compliments sometimes, but I also get weirded out by criticism. Both for different reasons.
Right.
I think it's good that I separate myself from that. But it does play its role, and it played its role recently in the recent video I did for NPR's Tiny Desk. The way that played out was there were a lot of people that believed in me, and I'm broke right now, completely and utterly in debt shambles, and they helped me complete a vision that I could not do on my own. And it showed me the power of community and teamwork. And I think at that moment, that's when I realized how important what I'm doing is to the world.
Yes.
Because of the fact that people are willing to do this and to believe in me to complete this vision in order to win something. That, for me, it's an emotional moment, and it's mind-blowing. And I think, when people come out to shows to enjoy music, and I think in a general sense, like, it's important. It's a reciprocal relationship between the listener and the artist. But this one was more, I was being lifted up. And for me, that meant everything to me, because, there are parts of this journey where you feel like completely giving up. And I'm in pretty much an impasse where that's at. And I think, I guess it's a part of the journey that everybody has to go through.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. And I'm glad that you had that experience of knowing how supported you are, because I will say, and I will always say, and I'm pretty sure that I'm Innocent Solution has told you as well, we are invested in your life, just in terms of praying for you, giving you energy, supporting anything that we can. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about me and I'm Innocent Solution. I'm talking about every single being that you touch, that you connect with at your shows, through your music, through your experiences. When people experience your gift and your energy, we recognize it as what it is. And it is a wonderful and a beautiful thing for you to be humble, and to recognize it is uncomfortable when people are, giving you praise and things like that. I could imagine that, so it's a wonderful thing. You're a normal being you're not so normal, but you're a being that has these experiences and these feelings. And it's wonderful that you're able to know what everything is. But yes, the people that get you, they get you, we get you, and we're doing everything that we can do to make sure that the Philharmonic has what the Philharmonic needs in order to continue the mission. And when I say this is not even anything on the physical. This is not anything on the physical. You already know what it is. And that energy that you carry, this new being that you are now, you're a magnet. There is nothing, even when you're in your lowest time, it is a necessary process. And it's a beautiful thing that you recognize that. Because in that recognition, you open yourself up to receive so much more. And your experience is never going to be like anybody else's experience. Because who knows what you're going to do next. But the whole thing is that, you got that message of be you. Be you. And you're spreading that through just being who you are. So it is a wonderful and magnificent thing that you are here in this space. I want to play another song that I really, really like. This one is Some Peace of Mind. So let you guys check that out. This is from the album Philharmonic. Oh, and you know what? It would help, like, if I had, like, the volume up and stuff before I play stuff. That would really help. Okay, yeah. Give me a second. No. All right. I wanted to touch on something else. It's important for me to say this just because I have to say this. You are not broke. You are an infinite. You're an infinite being. This abundance that you have within you, you always have everything that you need all the time. All the time you got it. So just don't say that anymore because you're not that. So I just had to say that. You don't even have to say no. I just want to say that. Okay. All right, here we go.
There's a riot going on inside of my skull. I'm no person war. I'm not so friendly for. We're the hero and the fiend before the temperament grows. It's the glass covered in smoke. Should the truth be imposed? Correct me if I'm wrong. It may be too late after all. My pride may have caused my fall. I guess I'm nothing but a pawn. In the game with no control. I'm the enemy after all.
Some peace of mind. Talk to me about that, Philharmonic.
For that one, it was the war that I really go through in my own mind.
Mm.
It's, at some point, some of that war is, you're going to go through positive and negative things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, for that one, I'm just really pouring out my mind and pouring out the what do you call it, the fluctuation that I feel on both sides of it.
So when the inspiration hits, like, do you just like get up in the middle of the night and you start going at it, or like, what is the process like for you when these spurts of inspiration come to just let it out and put it on the board? Like, what is that like?
Well, I just let it come to me. It just comes to me, like it comes from out of nothing. It's one line, one word leads to another, one line leads to another, one chord leads to another chord, and before I know it, I have this idea, and it all comes together. But really, it's funny enough, you got to let go of the wheel for it all to come together. And I feel like that's an art within itself, is letting go of the wheel.
Mm-hmm. So which one of the songs were you sober in? What was your sober song? Which one was it?
What's It All Mean was sober. Chasing was sober. Shoot My Shot was sober. I'll Be Just Fine was sober. Paradigm was sober.
Nice. So when you went into the sober mode, were you scared at first, or was it just like, your inspiration when it hits normally? What was different about it?
The thing that at first I felt like I was never going to find inspiration, because it took months of trying to get back on it, and then I realized, like, you're just going to have to write it out and write whatever comes to your mind. And I even challenged myself, even if you don't like the song, release it. And that's how I got out of that. And the first song I created out of that was The Balance. And that's where I was like, okay, I'll figure this out. The second song was Chasing. And Chasing was happened to be my favorite song that I've ever written. The difference between writing on drugs and writing sober is that you got to feel it when you're sober in order to write it. You have to feel every single emotion, good and bad, the painful. You have to feel the pain. The drugs numb the pain in order to get the creativity out.
Right.
But now I feel the heaviness, the pain, the strife that I go through in my own mind in order to come up with some of these, to let go of the wheel.
And isn't it like a high that lasts a lot longer?
I wouldn't even call it a high. It's more of a relief.
Okay. That's even better. That's even better. That's what you need. You need that relief. That's absolutely an excellent way to describe that. I want to, so you said that the second one that you wrote was Chasing. And which one was the first one?
The Balance. That didn't go on the album, but I wrote a video and a song to it. I gave it its space.
You know, I want to ask what we have to do to make sure that you get on NPR, Tiny Desk.
Oh, can you repeat that?
What do we have to do to make sure that you get on NPR's Tiny Desk? We know that you did a video, there's a submission, it's been accepted. So what do we have to do now to make sure that that happens?
Wait.
We have to wait.
We've done everything we can.
Okay, we can't.
We've done everything. We had a vision. We showed up. We executed that vision better than I thought I had it in my mind. I thought about the perspective. There is nothing in that execution that I feel that I mean, of course, there's things that you can improve over time, but the type of improvement really, if you nitpick at it,
right,
it takes away from the beauty of the creation. Like I'm at a place where it's like, at this point, whether they choose me or not, we put out like a undeniable piece.
Yes.
Of music, of a moment in time, and it's my greatest work to date. What that was, in my opinion, it's visually and even all coming together.
Oh, it was just amazing. I love it. And I'm rooting for you on NPR. I'm so happy of how, just expressing it in that way of knowing that you've done everything that you could and you gave it your all. You feel good about what you did. You created that moment, and so it is. And so I just see the best things in life for you, whatever you choose for those things to be. I already know. And I'm so excited about this album and the world getting to hear it. If people want to support, the Philharmonic is an independent artist, and everything is created through the support of the community that is connected to his passion and what it is that he's doing. So if we want to make a contribution, how can we do that, Philharmonic?
You guys can go to my Spotify or type in the Philharmonic or Apple Music, or go to Bandcamp and type in the Philharmonic and buy one of my albums there. There's also Venmo and Cash App, and all under the Philharmonic. It's spelled THEPHILHARMONIK. And it's the same across all platforms. There's not a deviation in any of the titles. It's the same thing, thankfully, all across the board.
That's awesome. Yes, we're going to continue to support the Philharmonic. Man, this has just been such an amazing time with you. What is next? Okay, so we have NPR. That's something that's already out there in the ether. So what is next?
I think just figuring it out. Just creating more content, releasing more stuff, and whatever decides to hit will hit, and we'll keep going until we can't go anymore.
That's right. Where can we see you live? Where are you performing next?
I'm performing in San Francisco next month at Bottom of the Hill, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And what date is
It's gonna be
that?
on
Bottom
April
of the
2nd.
Hill? April 2nd?
Yeah, April
Okay.
2nd.
Is anybody else performing with you, or is just you?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have my band with me, and then I'm gonna have the Lab Rats and Hokage Simon, and
Ah.
we're all sharing a bill,
Uh-huh.
and it's gonna be a good night, fun night.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna make it a point to make that show for that event because I missed the last couple ones and I miss you. I miss seeing you live. When you perform, I just sit there and I'm like, the energy that comes out of you is the fact that you're loving what you're doing and it's obvious. You can tell, and you do connect with your audience, and it's a wonderful thing. And that experience of small intimate settings, it's a wonderful thing. And I know you've had like really big audiences, right? So what is that like?
I think it's exciting and electric to go through those big audiences. I think it's like you could feed off so much energy, and it's great. And sometimes it's depending on what's going on in your personal life, it's not as great. It really there's a lot of factors that go into it. It could be a sunny day outside, and you can get into an argument with one of your loved ones, and the sunny day is not so beautiful.
Right.
So it's the same thing with a big crowd. It really, if everything goes right, it's a great experience.
Yeah. I think it's good to be able to talk about these things as an artist because, yeah, people don't talk about that. And the fact that you have been doing your self-work, then you're able to prepare. You are prepared for these situations because another part that happens with those big crowds is that, let's say you don't book another gig in a while and now you want that fix of having that. So how do you deal through that whole situation? It takes work, and those things, it is important to talk about those things so that people that want to get into the world of artistry and entertainment and know what this is, they can get a full grasp, a full, clean, transparent look of exactly what it is and not what has existed in the past with all of these, the whole imposter syndrome and people trying to be things that they're not, and the follow me and do what I do and everybody looking the same. So this is a different world and a different way of artistry being presented, and you are completely in the, what is it that they call you? You're like the forerunner, like I don't know anybody else that is doing what you have done, Philharmonic. I truly don't. And I know a lot of people in music. And this is just, is I know it's hard for you to hear how amazing you are, but man, genius man, you are amazing, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for your time with us tonight. We're going to close it out with I'll Be Just Fine because it's one of my favorites too. I do want to say to people, if you're on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, when you're making videos, you can just search the Philharmonic and you can add any of his songs on your little clips, on your little shorts. That's really going to help get the word out to people. Know that this is beyond just music. This is healing. We're healing the sacral-chakra. So once again, Philharmonic, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You've just been the best guest. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
You're so very welcome. All right, you guys. I appreciate you all being here. I Minister Solution, appreciate your questions there in the chat. Thank you all that are listening to the recording of this later. Make sure you pass it on to everybody that you know that wants to feel good. So, all right, give me a second because I said I'm playing this song, but y'all know I got to get ready because, you know, I don't have an engineer. I got to do my own engineering in the studio, and it takes me a long time to get it together. But here we go. This is I'll Be Just Fine from the album Philharmonic. Check it out.
174 days, 6,575 hours, 394,500 minutes, and 23,670,000 seconds. Close my eyes and imagine a beautiful world that can use just a little bit of magic to overcome the madness. But my rose-colored glasses blind my mind from the truth with too many distractions. See that it could happen in the times where it's loudest in the silence. Knowing that I can use a little guidance to help calm the waves of every storm that causes me to falter, and be the bridge that can cross the troubled waters, freeing me from my chains. At the times when I feel that the whole world's slipping away, I always say that I'll be just fine. I was afraid of the shadows, but not anymore. But not anymore. I guess it's by design. Every battle that's lost gives strength in the end to win the war. Overcome and transform. Can you show me a miracle? A diamond in the rough exposed. What glitters desperate to find its gold. There I know that I'll find what I'm looking for. With the roses in the concrete road, it's search to find what I'm looking for. In my soul, in my soul.
Have you ever thought, what is the meaning of life? Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind. What if this is all just a dream?